Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right now.
Because it's time to write now.
Right now.
Right now.
Right.
Welcome to another daily motivation stream. I'm your host, Kauffman, and today we're going to get some writing done. We are going to be doing not one, not two, but three consistent sprints. So with our timing today, we're going to be keeping these sprints at around the same pace. So we're going to have to make sure that we are getting as much work and keeping ourselves accountable as possible. We're going to be doing 3 25-minute sprints, so that means we have to be productive. Make sure to stick around for the breaks and we'll chat it up. We'll chat up some writing stuff and shenanigans and whatever is on our minds. You guys know me. I'm Kauffman. I'm working on The Last Scarecrow, a dark fantasy adventure. What are you working on? Drop a comment. I would love to hear what you're going to be developing during the sprints today. All right, and we are going to get right into it. Hey, what's up, unknown? Welcome, my friend. Hopefully the writing is treating you awesomely today. I totally believe in us. And Greg, welcome to the stream. Calvin, what's up? Glad to see you guys. So, as you guys can see, I already have my screen pulled up. I'm already with my writing software. You can see I already got Last Scarecrow. I was looking at the title and I'm like, I've been calling it a post-apocalyptic fairy tale, which this actually kind of has a better ring to it. But I'm like, I think it's a dark fantasy adventure. I kind of going back and forth on how I want to categorize it. Well, we'll see. All right, my friends. So let's get into this first writing sprint. Let's try to like get into the writing vibes. I was like, I know I kind of have to get myself there. So I'll see if I'm able to get into it. All right. So I am all ready. Whether you want to brainstorm, write, or edit, that's all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. Fingers to- Yeah, go check out that experience.
Say what? Still laughing.
This phone goes out there. I'm chilling. First, you're kind of throw the bushes. Bearing the bushes straight to the back. All right, and writing sprint done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Woof! How'd that writing sprint treat all y'all? Were you guys able to get some good work in? Hopefully, hopefully. I was like, I feel pretty good. I was like, I feel like we were able to get. I had to deal with some admin stuff first, but then on the last couple minutes there, I started getting myself into the mindset. As you guys can see, when I'm trying to, if I ever feel like I'm struggling for some reason to get myself into that like habit of typing, I'll do like a typing test sometimes. I was like, it kind of works for me. It's like that getting myself into the habit or the act of just typing almost transitions for me. By the way, welcome, Eli. Great to hear from you, my friend. How is the writing going? How's the progress been going with your book? Your characters have been on my mind from time to time as I've been thinking through your story, my dude. Unknown, what's up? That's so cool. Unknown that you're working on your dragon book, by the way. I'm actually really, really excited about that. I'm like super excited. Eli, you're like, I got a submission for the critique show. It's super short. Very, very cool. That's awesome that you were able to submit. And once again, anybody who doesn't know, right, this Saturday, day after tomorrow, is the next critique stream. Anybody who wants feedback on their story can submit an excerpt for the live reading and the live critique for Saturday's stream. Very, very cool. Episode 29, I think. No, 39. This Saturday is the 39th episode of the story and critique stream. So yeah, wow. Calvin, nice. 418 words. What's up? I was like, how many words did I get through? Revision. I was like, why did that pause? Huh, weird. Let's see. How many words did I get through on my revision? I was like, granted, I was just like, I just reviewed. I was like, I'm to the point now where I can start, because I don't think that. Yeah, I got through about 3:30 of just revising. So nothing crazy on my end. Writing break. Hey, what's up, Morgana? Welcome back. You're just taking a writing break because mental health is important. Absolutely, my friend. Absolutely. That is definitely really resonates with me because a lot of the times, right, writing a book takes time, it takes energy, and a lot of times writers can take for granted how much mental or emotional energy it can take to write a book, right? Like, of course, when it's fun, but there's times where it's really difficult when we have to be working through difficult concepts, or we don't have the skill yet to be able to tell the type of story that we want to. And then when we are comparing ourselves to others, looking online, seeing how other writers are going about our journey, it can become a struggle for a lot of writers. Or when we have expectations, whether they're realistic or unrealistic, that aren't being met. So absolutely, mental health is always a great, great conversation. I hope everybody is taking care of themselves with some solid mental health breaks. Absolutely. Nice, and you're like, my planning is going really well right now. Sounds like you're making some solid progress. That's actually really, really cool. Granted, I'm a fan of dragons, so I'm curious to hear more about how your dragon book is going to develop. Nice, Greg. So, like, I don't have a word count at the moment. I am working on my websites, adding a feature so I can publish articles easily. Absolutely, that is awesome. And this is what I always tell writers, right? So even if we're not working directly on the writing, the author branding side of it is so important, right? So that's why I would say writing, editing, brainstorming, or I really should add branding, author branding into it, because we need to be figuring out how to find and connect with our readership, and newsletters are very important. It looks like you're working on an article right now, and especially with your website. Websites are so important. So that way, when your readers check you out, they can learn more about you. So that's really, really awesome, Greg. I have a website as well. Right now I have my writing service based website, which is for all of the like the writer editing. I do a lot. I do book editing. I do coaching, reading services, and all that. I have that website, and then I'm developing and in the works an author specific website for the book that I'm working on that you guys see on screen, The Last Scarecrow. So I'll be launching that at some point once I'm a little further along in this process. So very, very cool. Yeah, and Greg, if you want any feedback on your website at all, you're more than welcome to let me know. I don't think I'll let you drop a link, but you can always let me know where your website's found at, and I'd love to check it out. Let's see. Eli, I submitted something from the same continuity before. It was called One in a Zillion, about an old man and his family. Didn't land how I wanted. Took the feedback, reimagined it. Excited. Yes. Yes, Eli. I love that. I remember that story because the old man character was very much resonated with me. So that's really, really cool. I always love when we see reworked pieces come onto the stream because then we get to see how it's evolved. Something that I might recommend, Eli, if people do want to check it out. If people like your story, you can always let people know where the original story was, which episode the original story was on. Um, I don't have time to be able to link to all the episodes, but in the description of every YouTube episode, of every story and critique stream, the description has all the stories that I read in it in the time code. So I was like, if you remember the month, you could probably go find the episode. So that way, when we're doing it, you could probably link people if they wanted to check out how the story evolved. Or like you could also post the story on a Discord. You could always post maybe like the original version if you had it compared to the newer version if you wanted people to kind of see the progress. That's really awesome. Really, really cool, my dude. Hey, you know what? Most of us are working stiffs, my friend. I also work so energy is low. And I mean like most people are working a 9 to 5 job. And especially like the average is what, like a 40-hour a week job? Like that takes a lot of energy. Working most jobs, whether it's at home, whether it's in person, regardless of what it is, working a 9 to 5 job takes a lot of energy. And that's why it's very difficult for a lot of people who are working a 9 to 5 job to be able to develop a book over time because writing a book takes energy. And then add on top of that responsibilities like family, if you have children, or school, or maybe you want to have a life, then you need to relax and you need to deal with mental health. Like it's such a journey. So I think it's really powerful to figure out for yourself what a writing consistency looks like. And not just for you, Morgana, like I'm sure you've heard this before, but it's more just in general, like what does a writing consistency look like that is also still working and still beneficial for your mental health? So, hey, what's up? What's up, my friend? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome back. Let's see, like the book is set at the beginning of a war and the main character is trying to understand why it started. Ooh, that sounds fun. Calvin, you're working on Trafal right now, writing a new chapter about him. I'm super excited. I'm loving the chapters that I'm seeing. I know you said that you have submitted a story for this critique stream as well on Saturday. I don't know how many submissions there are, so I always tell everyone like submit as much as possible. But if there's a lot, I'll try my best to get to everyone. If there's not a lot, then I get to everyone. Is there room on the Discord for the submitted stories? I'd stick it in there. Yeah, I think there's a submission. Channel. I think there's a feedback submission channel, Eli, where you can just link to like a Google Doc or a story, I believe. So yeah, there's definitely a feedback channel. Hey, what's up, Justin? That's what I thought. I thought it was Justin. I know. And I mean, Calvin, that's what I always recommend, right? Like you should always submit. And then it just gets queued up for future streams. Okay, so let's do it. All right, so let's do it. Let's get into a second writing sprint. And by the way, if you're enjoying the stream, follow and subscribe. 444 consecutive writing streams and counting. If you're wanting a daily writing community with writers of all genres, skill levels, we got these daily writing sprints, we got critique shows, we got author interviews. This weekend is the story and critique stream and the Create Right Now podcast. We have our book club. We have an upcoming fiction contest later in the spring and much, much more. If you want to be involved, or maybe you want that accountability or that motivation, then this community is the one for you. So make sure to tap that follow or subscribe button and you'll be alerted when we go live. All right, my friends. So I'm going to join you. I'll hop back into the chat. Let's hop into our second writing sprint. Like I said, I'm keeping them all at 25 minutes because my time's a little more limited today. So we're going to do our second sprint at 25 minutes. I'm going to try to be productive. I feel pretty good. And yeah, so let's get into it. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, or working on author branding stuff, that's all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. done. Reading accomplished. Child from the fourth. Finger step as I stretch her waist out. Shoulder. All right, writing sprint number 2 done. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Were you able to make any progress that time? I know I was starting to get into it. I think I made, yeah, I mean, I think I made a little bit of progress that time as I'm was moving along and revising that next part of the chapter. Yeah, so I think I got a little bit done. I was like, yeah, I was like, I'm glad that I didn't have to rewrite any part of this section. I'm currently in the middle of trying to combine 3 chapters together, so we'll see. So far, the first chapter, I'm at the end of where the first chapter. No, I already passed the end of where the first chapter was. So now I'm at near the beginning ish of the second chapter, and we're getting pulled into the obstacle. So it's interesting because we've had Scarecrow and his companions have dealt with their share of obstacles, and in each of these instances, Scarecrow has gone to help, has tried to help a creature, and the creature, it's actually turned out well. So in the Cannibal Forest, he helped Cloth, and the little cloth creature saved them, thankfully, and that turned out well. He helped Gore, the grizzly bear from the Dream Muck Lake, and the grizzly bear turned out to be friendly. And now, as they have reached this next part of the area, they've finally gotten out of the forest, and they got to this like canyon that's overlooking this vast area, and it's basically kind of looking over the next part, the next area that they need to go to, when they hear a scream for a cry for help. And of course, Pebble is very like, don't help anybody. Scarecrow goes and rushes towards the sound to help them, along with Crow. Mr. Crow's there. They go to the ledge of this cliff. They see a monkey is basically hanging on, gripping the edge of the cliff with one hand, as Scarecrow bends over to help the monkey, and that's kind of where we're at right now. So this is actually it's a really interesting moment, because this moment is going to be this is a turning point moment. I would say this is almost like the inciting incident of this story arc. Of this story arc, this is the inciting incident. Oh man, how do you guys do? It looks like we were all able to get a little bit of progress in here, which is wonderful, wonderful. So I saw a couple of you guys. Let me go check the chat. Woo, my bad. 19 words. Nice. It sounds like you also had to reset your computer, so that kind of sucks. Calvin, nice. 300 words. Greg, slow progress. We'll get there. You know what? Bit by bit, my friend. Absolutely bit by bit. And then Greg, I know you dropped a link for the website that you're working on. I was like, I didn't even have the chance to check it. Happy Paddy's Day. Yeah, so that's awesome. So it looks like you're developing your website. You're writing a translingual book. I think I'll throw it up here for a second as I'm just checking it out. I'm always intrigued by others' websites. Oh, this one would be better. All right, we'll just do this. I was like, I forgot that I changed this. I just wanted to see what the website was. Interesting. So it looks like it's kind of like about Bitcoin. So like you got some writing. It looks like you got a mix of other things, Greg. Thanks for dropping your website. By the way, Greg Inc. writes. He just sent over his website. I was kind of curious to check it out. Looks like he's doing Happy Paddy's Day pub, some fan art, and then talks a little bit about build a doomsday vault. I will build a doomsday vault. So you're writing a translingual book. So it sounds like you got a couple cool projects going on, my friend. Hopefully you're able to make some solid progress with what you're working on, which is super cool, which is very, very cool. Yeah, exactly. I completely agree. Progress is progress. So very, very cool. Thanks for sharing that. I was like, don't know where the link was. You dropped a really good link here. So like anybody who is I've actually seen this link before. So this link here has everybody in the chat. Got to go back to comments. So this link here, Greg, you sent me this link that I popped up at. That link leads to all like the writing streams in the community. So there's like a couple hundred. It's like a couple hundred writing streams. It's really interesting for people who are ever looking for writing streams that lists all of the author tubers in the community. If I think there's like over 300 or 400. Like I know a number of the author tubers who put that together. Those of you guys who know Rachel D. Adams helps with putting that together. And most of the author tubers are listed on here. I want to say at the time of this list, I want to say there's about 558. Now, my question that I would always pose, like, well, how many of these are active? Who knows? Good question. But I think there's definitely a lot of options on here, which is super cool. And there's also, it looks like there's a time stream as well. Interesting. I have such appreciation for anybody who does all the scheduling for this type of thing. I'm like, this is a lot to work. Very, very cool. So, Greg, thank you for sharing, my friend. It's always really cool to find other writing streams and communities on here. By the way, Dream Chaos, that's awesome. Welcome to the stream. I love your image, by the way. your image is super cool. I was like, I don't know what that reminds me of. It reminds me of an anime or a character of some type. Very, very cool. Glad you're able to get some progress on your writing. Awesome. So as we hit the end of this next sprint, we're going to hop into another 25-minute sprint. And let's see, what do we got here? So anybody who wants feedback on their story, remember that this Saturday is the next episode of the Story and Critique stream, where I do a live reading and then a live critique of your stories. It is absolutely free. It's so much fun. I accept all genres, all formats. I've done well over 200 stories out of the past 38 episodes of the Story and Critique show. So I highly recommend that you submit. Now I'm going to drop this down in the description for anybody who wants to submit their story for this Saturday's stream. It's generally a first come, first serve basis. I will prioritize new submissions so that way we can welcome new writers to the community, but I end up balancing everybody who submits. So definitely highly recommend everyone submit for this Saturday's critique show. Awesome. And with that being said, let's hop into the third writing sprint. So we're going to do writing sprint number 3. We're going to go another 25 minutes, keep it super easy, super casual. I think I'm making some good progress, so let's do it. I'm all ready. Whether you are brainstorming, writing, editing, or working on author branding, that's all part of the process. Come join us because it's time to write now. All right, my friends, what an awesome writing sprint. I hope we were able to get some solid progress in that time. I know I wasn't as productive as I wanted to be, but you know what? It happens. I had to deal with some other things. So I hope you were able to get some writing, some work in as well. And yeah, so I'll be back tomorrow as we talk towards creative writing on the morrow. I'll be back tomorrow for our Friday sprint. Little earlier, 1 p.m. Pacific, 2, 3, 4 p.m. Eastern. So I'll be back 1 Pacific, 4 Eastern tomorrow for some more writing consistency and trying to make more progress. I'll have to be more productive tomorrow. Thank you all for joining me today. We were able to get 3 solid enough sprints. I was like, my bad, I'm kind of on your level too, getting some work in, and I'll be back this weekend. We'll have some great streams. If you enjoyed the stream, tap that like button and help us show the algorithms that writing streams are cool. All right, my friends, it's been great. I am honored, but unfortunately, that brings us to the end of the stream. Don't forget, words are wind, but stories are forever. I'm Kauffman, and I'll catch you on the morrow. Stay creative, writers.
Right now.
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 Because it's time